and welcome back to another class of our course about Python. So in our last class, we practiced a little bit what we just learned until now. In this class, we are going to do something. So we will create another Python app, this time a bit more complicated but just using annotations that we learned until now. So we are not going to add nothing new. We are just going to use the annotations that we used before. So it's gonna be very cool. My goal today is the objective of new app that we are going to do today is very simple. So we will have three persons which will have each of them will have a name. Those three persons will buy a pizza and we want to know how many slices each person eat of the pizza. And depending of the number of slices that each person eat, we'll find out how much person will pay. So we will write down the code for all this and we will go step by step. I will explain you how all this works. So let's start. So the first thing I will ask you guys to do, open up your text editor and going to your project. So like you said, the first thing that we want to this app is our user to give us the name, his or her name, depending upon if it's girl or boy. So we will ask him to enter his name. So we will simply enter name 1 in this case. And what we want to do, as I said, we want the user to give us his name. So we will write down input. That's the function that will allow us to ask the user for his name. So in this case, we write down the input function, and in this, what is your name? It is your name. That's very simple. We did this for our first user. So we will copy everything and paste it. So we have name 1, name 2 and name 3. As I said, we have 3 users. So very simple. We simply copy and paste everything. Alright. So this is our first data that we need to collect names. So in this case, we have strings. And the next thing that we want, as I explained, we want to find out how many slices each person eat. But first we need to find out how many slices of pizza have. So what we will ask our user is how many slices of pizza have. So we can write down slices in the pizza. So let's write down input function and you ask the user how many slices of the pizza. Alright, so right now that we know the number of slices in the pizza, so we want to know what is the price paid for whole pizza. So what is the price paid for all the pizza? So in this case, if the pizza cost is $10 and the pizza have 10 slices and the first user ate only one slice, this means the first user will have to pay $1. So we will do this way. So as I said, the next question is what is the price of pizza? So we have number of slices, we have the price. So once again simply write down input function and ask user what is the price of the pizza. Great. So we have our first data right here. We have the names. We know how many slices there is in the pizza. We know what is the total price of the pizza. What we need to know right now is how each person eat. So in the first case, how much of the whole pizza the person ate. So let's say the first person eat 50% of whole pizza, we'll ask the person how many parts or what percentage of the pizza have you eat. So once again we need to put this into our code. So how we will write it down is very simple. I will write down percentage 8 by person 1. Percentage 8 by person 1. So in this case we have our variable percentage 8 by person 1. So we can name it like this. If you want to make shorter, then do it. Well, you can ask once again to our user what percentage he ate from pizza. So once again we'll write down input function. So we will use our variable name1 as a reference because we are talking to the name1. So the first user, in this case we are talking to this person. So we will write down name1 and we will ask the person what percentage of the pizza you have ate. What percentage of the pizza you have ate. Why I use name1 variable? It just because we want to know this percentage of pizza have which person or just we need to refer the person. Next thing that we need to do is exact same thing for person number 2 and person number 3. So you can just copy and paste everything right here. When it's all done, you simply change the number of variables person 2 and person 3. Here we write name 2 for the person 2 and name 3 for the person 3. So in this case we have person number 1, person number 2 and person number 3. And same thing for variable name 1, name 2 and name 3. So I hope you follow until now and you understand what we are doing. So let me just summarize what we did until now. So we have our first variable which is name1, name2 and name3. We name our users. After that we find out the total number of slices and the price of pizza. And right now we are looking for what percentage of pizza each person ate. So very simple, that's the data that the people will have to give us. So we will able to calculate everything. So we have all the data we need. Now we need to make calculation to be able to answer to our questions. In this case, what are the questions that we want to answer? The first one will be how many slices each person have ate. And the second question is what price each person paid for pizza. So we will write down number of slices ate by person 1. So this will be our variable that we will use. So the calculation to find out the number of slices ate per person is very simple. We simply multiply the percentage of pizza that the person have ate. So in this case, the person have a 50% of the pizza. We'll multiply 50% by the number of slices there is in the pizza. So in this case, if there is 20 slices and the person ate 50% of the pizza, the person number 1 will have ate 10 slices. So it's very simple. So how do we calculate this? We want to multiply here the percentage ate by person number 1 by the number of slices, but very important thing, all the data is stored in string. The first thing that we have to do is to transform the data into numbers to be able to make calculations. So we will use float function for the transform data from string to numbers. If you guys remember, so the float function is really used to transform strings into numbers. and the function str is used to transform numbers into string. Because we can't work with strings and numbers at same time, so both data will not work together. So write down float and simply write our first variable, which is the percentage added by person number 1. So here we have this, and the calculation will be percentage added by person number 1 multiplied by once again float, because we want to transform our slices of pizza into number. Right now it's string, so we write down float and we will write down slices in the pizza. So this is our first calculation that we want to do. So this calculation will help us to find out the number of slices that the person number 1 have ate. So when we have this, we need to find out something for person number 1. We need to find out same thing for person number 2 as well as the person number 3. So simply copy and paste everything, and we can just change the data. So we have number of slices added by person number 2 and person number 3, and the percentage added by person number 2 and person number 3. So you can just change the numbers of slices in the pizza, stay like same always. So when it's all done, we have the calculation that will help us to find out the number of slices that each person ate. The next question that we will ask is the what is the price paid for by each person. So in this case, let's say each person have ate 10 slices of the 20 slices of pizza, and the price of pizza is $20. Well, the person will need to pay $10 because each slice costs $1. So there is more than one way to find out this answer, but the way that we are going to use will simply multiply the percentage of pizza ate by the person number 1 by the price of pizza. In the person number 1 have ate 50% of the pizza, person number 1 will pay 50% price of the pizza. So how do we do this? Very simple. We'll create another variable that we will name price paid by name 1. So as I said, the calculation will be the percentage of pizza ate by person number 1 multiplied by price of the pizza. So once again we will use our float function. So here we simply refer the variable percentage ate by person number 1 multiply by once again float function the price of the pizza. As you can see, this is the calculation. So this calculation will help us to find the price paid by person number 1. So when it's all done, it's very simply, we simply come back here and we copy and paste everything. And the next thing that we will have to do is just change the numbers. Price paid by name 2, price paid by name 3, and the percentage added by person number 2 and percentage added by person number 3. In this case, just change the number 1 by number 2, and same thing for the percentage number 1 by number 2, and same do for the person number 3. And as you can see, it refers the percentage added by person 1, 2 and 3 for 3 persons. Alright, so right now we have all the calculation that we need for our app to work. So the next thing that we will do is print everything. So what exactly the person will have as an output? So those are our inputs. That's what we ask from the person. This is the app will do calculation, so that's the calculation part. And the last thing, what we will be output of all this. So very simple. So simply write down print. So we print the person number 1 have ate certain number of slices and have paid certain price for meal. So let's write down. So name number 1. In this case have ate. So you can write it in quotation mark and write down have ate. Simply write here plus sign first. Have ate. Then the next thing we will have number of slices. So the number of slices in this case is a number. So we need to transform this number into a string. If we want our app to work, so simply write down str function and we ask for the number of slices ate by person number 1. So as you can see that name, so the person number 1 in this case have ate a certain number of slices. Then we will continue our function. So I have ate this number of slices and have paid. Slices and have paid. Paid how much? So in this case we will do exact same thing. We will return a string of the price paid by person number 1. Price paid by name 1. So go back and looking for variable and we will continue dollars for his meal. Alright, so let's put everything together. Let's quick review everything. So what is our output in this case? The output says name number 1. So this variable which will be our first name have 8. This will be the number of slices and the person number 1 have 8. So we need this answer and have paid right now. We have our second half of our paid. This is the price that the person have paid. So in this case, we will return this variable right here. And this is just string. It just takes dollar for his meal. Alright, until now we have everything that we need. We have the output for the person number 1. So what we need to do right now? We need to write the same output for person number 2 and person number 3. So how we will do this? I will simply copy and paste right here. Alright, so when it's all done, simply change numbers. These two statements for the person 2 and 3. So simply change number 1 by 2. Number of slices ate by person number 2 and price paid for the person number 2. And do same for the person number 3. Slices ate by person number 3 and price paid by person number 3. So right now we have the whole code completed for our app. Let's run everything and see what it looks like. What is your name? So the app asks us what's your name. In this case, let's say Mark. So our name will be Mark. Let's say just fix one thing before we continue. So just add colon so it will be looks more beautiful. If you don't write colon, it's not a big deal. I write it just for looks beautiful. Alright, Great. Let's run the app once again. What is your name? Once again, as I said, Mark. The second name going to be John, and the third name will be, let's say, Alex. Here we see how many slices in the pizza. So let's say 16. What is the price of pizza? In this case, let's say $40. What percentage of the pizza you have ate? So Mark have ate 50% of the pizza. So we will write down 50% like this, 0.5. We will be able to calculate for John. What percentage of the pizza have you ate? So John have ate 25%. So we will write down 0.25. And Alex, what percentage of the pizza have you ate? We will write down 0.25. Once again, 25%. And as you can see, this is our output. So Mark have ate 8 slices and have paid $20 for his meal. John have ate 4 slices and have paid $10 for his meal. And Alex have ate 4 slices and have paid $10 for his meal. So as you can see, the app works perfectly. Everything is amazing. So right now guys, we just put everything together what we have learned into practice. So I hope you like the course so far. So as you can see, programming is not that hard. So we created a code that a bit more complex but just with things that we learned until now. Alright, so that's it for this class guys. I will see you in next class.